Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today we are filming my next episode in series I have finished. Oh my god, I forgot to check which number we're on before starting to film. We are on number 12, and if you're unfamiliar with this, is that every time I finish 15 series, I make a video going through all 15 of them, and then we do the next video when I've done another 15. 2024 was a really bad year for series for me, I feel like. So this goes for the series I finished in the 30th of March in 2024 until the 20th of November in 2024. So basically almost the whole year in one episode. It's bad, okay? I'm shouting at myself as well. Without further ado, I will go through the series, give you quick thoughts, and yay. Now the first series I have today is one that I wanted to finish for a long time and then I never did, and that is the Dustland series by Moira Young. It starts off with Blood Red Road, which I actually first read in Norwegian and then later got 2 and 3. Then I reread this in English to finish the series and I literally never did, and now I finally did that now in March, in last year it will be now. I did enjoy it, but I do feel like obviously it suffers a bit from being written in the time that it was written in. I still think that Blood Red Road is a fantastic YA dystopia book. It's set in this world where like, well, the whole world has basically gone to shit, and then there's this dude who's trying to control everyone. I guess he's attempting stuff, and then we need to stop him. And then in the first one we have this pair of twins, and then he gets kidnapped, the dude in the twin pair, and she goes out to save him. And then she also has a little sister relationship revolves a lot in the book, and I think that's amazing. There's also romance, etc. But it's just the way that a lot of the things, at least in the third book, felt meaningless after everything we've been through. Made me really frustrated with like the last book. I still enjoyed it a lot overall. I really like the way it's written, I like the world, but overall like the first book is so solid, and I do think like of a lot of YA dystopias that were written in this time, they had a really solid concept but didn't, I feel, often executed in a way that people really enjoyed, but it still was an enjoyable thing, and I am glad to finish it. Blood Red Road is like a 5-star read, basically. It just doesn't go like exactly where I wish it would have gone. But when does series ever do that, huh? It's rarity. So 2024 was the year that I actually binge read some series, manga series, and one of the first one I did in the year was Fire Punch by Tatsuki Fujimoto. That is the author of Chainsaw Man, which like is super good. I really love it, and then of other like one shots as well. But Fire Punch was the series that the author wrote before Chainsaw Man, and it's really weird. And at this point, it feels like a weird fever dream because like I literally binged it over like 2 days. And then since it all like happened in one big blob, and now I'm sitting here like what actually happened, it's definitely one that I would like to reread because there's a lot of symbolism and different interesting things about the story. But basically we follow the first one where we have the sibling pair, and they are like starving in this village. They have like a power of regeneration because we are in this world where people have gotten powers, and the whole world has kind of turned to ice because one person with ice powers kind of just like froze the whole planet. Since they regenerate and people are starving, they have like been chopping off the limbs so people can eat them, so like they won't starve. And then like stuff happens that the whole village, well, it goes to shit, to say it like that. And a main character was supposed to die, but since he regenerates so fast, he just keeps burning and then regenerating, and he's like always in pain and always burning. And then people like start to like find out about this person who's burning, and like it starts as a symbol, but then it doesn't really like develop in the way you think at all after that, and then it becomes super bizarre and weird, and you're just sitting there like, what did I just read? But I feel like that is Tatsuki's style, like, because it's same happens in Chainsaw Man, where like you have a certain concept, they're like, oh, we've seen this before, and now it's just like something completely else. And I really could notice that in just in this 8-volume manga that is finished. I did enjoy it all, but super weird, and it was fun to binge a series for once instead of like reading it over 6 years. I actually can't believe I bothered taking the next one out of my shelf because it's actually a hassle to try to show you. It's another manga series. I did not binge this one, I just finished it within like 2024. I've been reading it over like the last couple of years, and I'm finally done. I'm saying finally because honestly I feel like it took me ages, and that was, can I do this? Demon Slayer. I keep struggling. Demon Slayer is basically a main character, Tanjiro, whose whole family is killed by demons, and then he goes out to become a demon slayer, try to find a cure to demonism. And then like we have like different arcs where we find different demons with his 2 companions, and then other characters also show up. this is a hassle. Okay, I'm struggling. And then it's the whole journey. I love it. I love Demon Slayer. I love the anime, especially. It's like beautiful music and animation, etc. The story in the manga goes very fast in comparison. Like the pace is fast, and considering that it's only 23 volumes, it has like a huge, I feel like, huge developments and arcs, etc. Considering it's only, again, just 22 volumes. But the ending is a bit weird. Honestly, I was just sitting there with the ending and I was like, this is so odd. But it was still a fun time, and I finished a manga series, and I'm happy about that. So it happens rarely because I use so long because of my like system. So I'm just happy, very happy when it happens. Why did I get these out of my shelf though? That is the real question, guys. Then we have a little fantasy trilogy. We have Burning Blade and Silver Eye, which consists of 3 books. Starting off, are they in the wrong order? They are in the wrong order. It starts off with Ashes of the Sun. Then we have Blood of the Chosen, right? And then Emperor Rune. Am I completely gone here? No, I'm not. And the first one basically follows these siblings that are separated when they're really young. One of them goes and becomes like a magician person, magic wheeler for like the country they live in, and then her brother becomes like the resistance against this regime. Anyway, and then their paths crosses again, and then there's other like really interesting things happening in the fantasy world. I did really enjoy it actually. I kind of want to reread it because I feel like it's a thing where you can pick up more every time, and I really had a good time. I feel like the details are like becoming blurry a bit for me now at this point, and I would like to reread in a few years because I did generally have a good time with it. I felt like it was well written. I felt like it was a good solid fantasy trilogy, so would very much recommend if you're after something else. It's also queer, which we enjoy, and it was cool and dramatic and what we want in fantasy. Now I have another manga series I binged. Apparently this was the time for binging this time of year, which was Sweat and Soap. And this is a romance manga, which was super enjoyable, so cute, honestly. And it follows this perfume maker who really like is sensitive to smells, and he meets this girl, like they work in the same department, and he thinks she smells amazing, like the best smell ever, and then he's very attracted to her because of this, and she's very attracted to him because he's smart and cool and kind, and it's about like their relationship overall. And I think this is like one of the best relationship like romance things I read, in the regards that they actually talk to each other. Like there's trouble, they have like anxiety for different things, they have troubles over different reasons, and they talk to each other, and they support each other, and they solve it, and like their problems are very humane and like not weird or difficult at all. Like she's very shy and maybe quiet, but they have so many good moments together, and like way that their relationship develops is just so sweet. And I love like the development of like the love they have for each other, and it warmed my heart a lot. I really enjoyed it, and I very much recommend it. It's a bit like a bit steamy, but not really. It's more romantic than anything else, but a bit steamy if you want to know. Also, like some of it was so sad, but like in a good way. But I was like so emotional attached to everything that was happening, so it's really good. Then we have 100 Names for Magic Trilogy by Rin Peko. This is kind of a Arthurian retelling where we have like Camelot and Arthurian legends playing a part, also mixed with Filipino legends and lore, etc. But also like other like known things, like for example like Ice Queen, etc. And then they lost the kingdom many years ago and are now returning there. And then we need to fight like the evil that is happening there, and we meet like other like famous things from legend. For example, like we meet Rapunzel, but like it's a twist on it and make it more like, for example, Filipino, stuff like that. I did think like the mix of what Winter Peko tried here was interesting and fun. I actually had read this as an arc before it was released, and then I reread it now to read this whole series. I actually listened to the whole thing on audio. Now I'm sitting here with like, was it really like amazing? It was amazing. It was like a fine trilogy. I do like that you have many different kinds of characters. There's a little bit like a diverse cast of characters, which I really enjoy. I do see what Winter Peko was trying to do here, but I also think like it's not like my favorite ever from the author. I like the Bonewood trilogy, I think, more, but I don't think that this was bad. I just think that it was fine. And also cover change, you know. You can get the like these covers in the paperback but not the hardback, so there's that. But I do think the reason I like the Bonewood trilogy more, for example, is because I feel like that had more plot twists that was interesting and like more engaging characters and world. While here I just felt like it was a bit silly at times, like some like this high school drama, which I get is like fair, it's a YA, you know, but just the way some characters acted, I was just like, stop. So I didn't love it as much, and I am considering if I need to keep it. Like, it's not terrible, but it takes a lot of space. I don't know if I loved it enough to keep it forever. Then we have what's it called again? It's called Song of the Lost Kingdom duology by Amelia Wan Shao. So this consists of these two books. It is a duology. I have very, very pretty editions from Illum Crates. And honestly, in the second, what was this about? Honestly, cannot recall. I don't know what that says. I don't know what that says. The people came and colonized her country, and then her mom disappeared, and now she's going out. She has magic, and it's bad, and then she goes out on this journey with this dude, and they're going to liberate the land, and both hold the power to destroy the world, and together they go. It's like romantic. It's a very, they go on the road and they need to like work together. Look how pretty this is. And for me, it felt a bit in like, it blended together with a lot of like fantasies like this. Like, it wasn't something that stood out clearly. And the second one, oh my god, the second one annoys me because I do remember how it ends, and I'm like, I don't want to spoil it, but I'm like, honestly, why? Honestly, why? I was just like, this is so stupid. But honestly, if I didn't have these super pretty editions, I don't know if I would keep them. But because I'm trying to justify to myself to trying to own home more, and it's very difficult for me. It was totally fine. It blended a bit together, but I didn't like the ending at all. So then that's probably why my brain was like, no, we are done with this in my brain. So there's that. Then we have a little fantasy quartet. Oh, if I can get them up, which is The Great Coes by Sebastian de Castell. I read Trader's Braid a few years ago. I didn't actually like it that much. It follows these Great Coes, which were like the best soldiers to the king that died, and like they were betrayed, and people saying the Great Coes betrayed him, and then like they were like shunned and like disregarded in this society, and then they go on this mission to protect someone, and then we go like on them on this chaotic journey. But yeah, I didn't really love it in the first one. I was just very like, they are very arrogant and annoying. But then I read Night Shadow, which was the second book, and I loved it so much. It was so good. The plot twist, sorry, I have something in my eye, were plot twisting. It was emotional. It was devastating. I give it 5 stars. It's my favorite in the series. So the development from book 1 to book 2, incredible. Kept going in 3 and 4. Did I have them in the wrong order? Maybe. Do believe I gave the last one like a 5 just because it was like the last one in the series, but Night Shadows is like above that, and I give this a strong 4. The way it ends, it's sad, it's with sweet, it's amazing. We do have like a certain 3 main characters that we are following, or 1 main character and like the 2 of his best and closest friends, and just the way I felt so much for them. I loved it a lot. I love the whole series a lot. I love the journey. I love like where it's humoristic but also sad and depressing at the same time. It was really great. I ended up really, really enjoying it overall, and I did not see that coming after reading book 1 and not feeling all for it. I hadn't even bought the rest of the series after like reading book 1 for ages, and then I had to read it for this booktober's favorite video, and then I just, oh my god, I need the rest of the series, and then I completed relatively fast, in my opinion, after that, and I would very much recommend it. I would definitely reread this just to like experience the pain all over again, and then I do think I will appreciate book 1 more than I did when the first time I read it. So yeah, very much recommend, and very happy I liked it so much. We then have another trilogy, which is the Divine Cities trilogy by Robert Jackson Bennett, and I had owned City of Stairs for like literally years, and I do also believe I owned City of Blades for a long while as well, because I wanted to read Thunderside, but then I had this thing in my brain that since this was released first, I need to read this before I read Thunderside. Still have not read Thunderside, but here we are. And I rather read this with my friend Johanna to finally like get through the trilogy, and it does follow different main characters that does show up like in the first book. In every book, it's basically in a war where gods have died, but in every book, God's trying to return, and I mean to stop it because they are terrible and they're gonna destroy the world. And it was a bit confusing trilogy. Like at times, I do feel like things weren't explained as well. I mean, I was a bit confused about the world, but when you got like into a couple of books, I do think it was a great time. I think it was like very different and weird, and while I was missing like some things that made me completely love the series, I did overall have a good time with it, and I do think it was like special and unique in that regard. What else to say? I do believe we both liked the third book the most, just because then we were so attached to a certain character, and it was very dramatic, but it was really cool, and like it was different kinds of powers, and it was different kinds of things happening. It was never the same over and over, especially since we had different main characters. Like we kind of ended each book, but then they also hung together. I had a good time with it, and I do still want to read Side, and also the newest by the author. I have actually done a pre-order to get it in this height, which I heard people love, so I cannot recall the title in this moment, but I am excited for that too. Then I finished another manga series, which is much smaller than the others. So we have, can I have them in order? Maybe. So we have Orange, which was really popular on BookTube back in the day, which started off with this one, which is a mental health manga basically. We have a main character and her friend group that gets a letter from herself 10 years in the future, and then she's basically trying to save this one boy who is struggling with suicidal thoughts, and then it is very sad, but very hopeful and full of love and friendship. I do want to emphasize that I do not think that saving someone's life should not be on a 16-year-old girl, and it shouldn't be romanticized in any way to have a responsibility on someone who is 16 or 15 or whatever she was. Like, there are people out there who can help, but obviously different cultures, different ways to react to this when you're a teen. But I'm still saying that the way that she felt this lying on her shoulders was not okay. But I blame the future self. And then also, I found out there was 2 more volumes released. There's like kind of focusing on 2 different characters here, and then like some in the future and some in the past, because we do have like the 10-year in the future as well. So I really enjoy like seeing more of the characters after the fact, because I do believe that I really love the characters actually. Yeah, I finished it and I'm happy. And we're happy because I finished it. Then I finished another series, which honestly is a bowl that I took off my shelf. It's not as bad as Demon Slayer, honestly. So, it is First Law by Joe Abercrombie. But I do feel like it's a bit fake that it is here, since we know it's coming more. Because like the way it ended, it's definitely coming more. So I finished this together with Catch Up Book Club, even though like I wasn't there in the beginning, but I was there in the end. And I read all of them. I can honestly say I did not have the greatest time. I did not ever feel like I fell in love with the series or the writing or like anything in the books that really kept me like engaged. I felt like it was all pointless. Especially the first trilogy. I was like, after all that, what was the point? Apparently there was 0 points. I did enjoy the latest trilogy more than all the others, and I did like feel more attached to the characters there, but I always felt like I never really loved anything. A part of me has considered unhauling the whole thing, because like, why would I keep this pile? That is apparently out to kill me right now. It is offended I said negative things about it. I'm very sorry. If I didn't love it, you know, why would I keep it? But then I'm like, but what if I reread it in like 10 years? And I really enjoyed it then. And it was like a huge favorite in like the epic fantasy community. And I do really wish I loved it. I just felt like I never got to really fall into the story or the world or anything in it that made me really love it. Which is, I do think it is sad, because I was hyped for it for a long time. I had read the first book before Catch Up Book Club, and I remember not enjoying it then even. And then when Catch Up Book Club started, I was like, well, now I have an excuse to finish it, and I will probably enjoy it more. But it never really happened. So overall, I feel like a lower tree for the whole thing, which is not great, honestly, for me. Do you think I can make this tower without murdering my books? That would be great. So, I then read another manga series that I binged in a day, which was a really great time, which was Yui Lover, which basically it is, as the title is, it's a main character falling in love with a mafia boss, and then it's just drama. It's so much drama. It's all the drama you expect to happen in like a mafia thing. There is kidnapping, there is not people wanting them to be together, there is revenge coming from the past, etc, etc. It was so fun. So good. I had a really good time. I had a blast. I would like to reread because it was so good. The ending again was a bit off to me. I was like, what is going on in this ending? Like literally the last volume, I was like, why are you ruining the whole experience right now? But like, I'm trying to forget that and like enjoy the ride for what it was. And I do feel like we could have had one more volume to like wrap it up more properly. But I'm happy. I'm happy with what I got. And it was honestly such a good time. No regrets. Bit steamy as well. I was like, wow. But yeah, I have been enjoying, like, if it's around like 12 volumes, like not maybe more, but like around 12 volumes, depending a bit on the manga. I feel like it's better to binge it in a day or two than like have my system if it's like at least finished or you can catch up very fast, since when I have the list, it takes a really long time to finish anything, apparently. Then I have another fantasy trilogy. Look at me finishing some of the fantasy trilogies. I never thought about it until now. This I also better read with my friend Johanna. So me and Johanna, we knocked it out of the park, I think. And this is the Licanius trilogy that I can't pronounce properly by James Islington. It starts off where the shadow of war was lost. And I don't really know how to explain the series because it's very like bizarre and weird and timely, wildly. Like we have time stuff and we have many different things. But we have this world where, at least in the beginning, these people go to this school, and if you don't like pass a certain test with this certain magic, you become like a thing. So our characters escape for that because they're being told that that school is bad, and I just go on to this journey, and then it reveals so many things. I don't know how to describe it. Honestly, it's a bit confusing. I do believe I was confused throughout the whole series, and I do believe that some parts I really felt like they are so long books, and I felt I was reading like 200 pages where nothing literally happened, which I felt suffered a bit in my enjoyment. But overall, like the ending, how it all came together, it's definitely a series I want to reread to see like more of the crumbs put out earlier, and that's a series I think I'm enjoying again, just like Great Coes and others here that I mentioned. So definitely think like I would reread this because honestly it was a blast, and I think it was really well written. I don't love it as much as The Will of the Many, but we should see when The Will of the Many we get more, because who knows the developments that can happen there. Maybe I start hating it, who knows. But honestly, it was a blast, and I am very happy that I finished the whole thing in like after one another, which now happens because I use like 4 years finishing anything. Then I finished another trilogy, which was actually some sci-fi, which is the Sen of Genesis Trilogy by Octavia E. Butler. This was a better read in my Patreon. I would say a bit of a failed better read because let's just say that I think I was the only one actually finishing the series. Which is fine, but it was just a bit funny. But we are now reading on that series, and it's a great time. That happens sometimes in better reads, but it's not because the books were bad or anything like that. I do actually think that the first book was absolutely incredible. We are set in this world where basically humanity has destroyed itself, and then we have these aliens that basically interface with humanity and like kind of makes it into a new species after their wishes. And it's really interesting because the first one just opens with a character waking up in this room and she has no idea what she's doing there, and then the wolves were there. And it's so fascinating to learn about her reactions and to like the aliens around her, like how they are and like a whole culture. It's so clever and smart and cool until more humans get involved and it's boring. So then like when the humans are there, I'm just like, ugh, then I snoozed a bit. So I was hoping to really love these since like they were the next ones in series, to really like, this is the order, to really fall in love with the series after like I got annoyed at the humans. But there's just more humans in these ones where like we have evolved a lot as a species, and then like, but there's still stupid humans, and it's both of them. And I felt like literally these were the same book, if I'm not like completely gone. So that was a bit frustrating for me because I honestly thought that this I gave like a really strong 4.5, or basically a 5-star, right? But I was held back to call it a favorite because of the parts that annoyed me so much. And here I was really hoping for them to like reach the heights of like, and actually like the whole series would be a 5-star series. But that never happened because like it just went more into the stuff that I didn't enjoy for the first one. And I had so high hopes, and it was really disappointing in that regard. But it was still a super solid series. I do think it's very well written. It brings up a lot of philosophical questions and a lot of really, really good things and themes. And I'm not saying that the series is bad. I'm just saying that the parts that I enjoyed the least was what we focused on, which made me like not a series I ended up loving, but still not one I end up regretting reading, if you know what I mean. It's really good that the next one I'm going to talk about, and the last one here, is not something I own physically because we are not going to deal with that anymore. That is actually the Tua Trilogy, which is a trilogy written by a Danish author called Thomas Kosko. And I borrowed the whole thing at the library because I was just curious about the series and I didn't want to just buy things to buy things. I'm trying to be better here, okay? We have our main character who lives in like this poor Danish household, a bit in the countryside. And then he's being abused by, well, basically his mother and his father in different ways. And it's him growing up and being poor. And then he's also gay. And suddenly in the third book, we are a different character. We're not a different character, but he kept doing things and I didn't understand. It was really frustrating. Series I really highly regarded here in Norway, at least. People talk about it a lot. It's very, very popular. So I was very curious about it. That's hence I read it. And I would say that the first and second book was like, they were good. They would have a lot of interesting reflections. I don't know like exactly why specifically this became so popular, but it reminded me a bit of like this other Norwegian author that writes about his life in detail. But like those books are like 1,000 pages long, and this one was like 300 pages, if that. I was still interested to follow his character, and I do like think it's nice. I've read like some popular Scandinavian, Nordic literature, etc. But because the third book really made me want to scream in frustration, because I was like, what is going on right now? After that, I was like, what was the point? What was the point of me reading this whole series? And that is not a nice feeling to be left with afterwards. So yeah, I ended up liking it fine, and I can definitely like talk about it and like have discussions around it. I'm not saying it was terrible, but the third book was just what was happening in there. So yeah, but I finished the whole trilogy within a year. I just like put a hold on, and there was like a 2-month hold on every book. And then I got the next one. I just pulled a hold on the next one, so that like I didn't need to read them right after one another. And like when it came in, I just had to read it because I couldn't renew it since it was such a long waitlist anyway. So that was a great way to like do it when like you use the library if you don't want to like read them all one after one another anyway. But yeah, I am glad I not bought it because I don't need that on my shelf, but I can still have memories with it and appreciate that I read it. I ended up, I guess, giving the whole series like a 3. I haven't given star ratings to a lot of these, I realize, but I don't think you need to know my star ratings because it's kind of, maybe it's obvious in the way I speak about them. I have no idea. That was 15 series I read 2024 apparently. I actually have already 7 on like the next list that starts the 2nd of December, because in December I realized that all the things I put on like series I need to finish. I need to finish before the new year, so I read a lot in December. All of those 7 are in December, and then I just need like what, 6 more, and then we will have another installment of this. Maybe more than one installment each year would be great, because I am in a lot of series, but hopefully I will be better. But yeah, that was it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I keep getting tricked though, because things I finish adds more stuff to the series, and I can't finish it twice in a way. I don't know. You should see me soon in a new one. Leave a check mark or do down below, because we are checking off all those series on our list, you know. And you should see me soon in a new one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!